Intermediate, lesson 26, reading passage, The Independence of the USA, not Brazil. Hello, everyone.
Hi, teacher.
Hello, teacher.
Hello.
Happy Independence Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's our day.
Yes. Did you guys work a lot on Independence Day, huh? Or you
I'm not.
How about you, Raquel? How was your day? Busy, 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 or not really?
A little bit, just
Yes?
yes. I was just doing the financial part.
Ooh, that's the good part. Okay. Well, I guess we have a new student today. 2 new students today. Well, the class is getting bigger and bigger.
Congratulations, teacher.
Oh, Cecilia and Maria Clara. I have never seen these names before. Hello, girls. Can you listen to me, Cecilia?
Hello, teacher.
How are you? Good?
Good. Good, and you?
I'm very well. Thanks for asking. Welcome to our class, okay? This is not a very normal class, okay? People here are kind of a little crazy, but don't be afraid, okay? Right?
I agree.
Yes.
The first time you show
Cecilia, we have a good
show
teacher.
us.
Yes, okay? But don't worry, they never bite. They only bark, okay?
Okay, thanks for introducing.
Yes. Oh, Maria Clara, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
Good. So why don't you, Cecilia and Maria Clara, why don't you tell us where your girls from? So we can get to know. There are people from all over Brazil here. Tell us where you're from.
Oh, I'm from Boa Vista, Roraima.
Okay.
Oh,
That's far. Yes.
Yes, too far. Too far.
Raquel is from also Manaus. Okay,
Yeah,
so
really close.
yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's really near.
And what do you do there?
Oh, I'm a student. You know, I'm 14.
You're a student and you also work. Is that right?
Can you repeat, please?
You said you are a student.
Yes, I'm a student.
Okay. What kind of student are you? Are you in college? Are you in high school?
In the truth, I'm in the elementary school. In the truth, I don't know how can I say, but
teenager.
You
She's
are
teenager.
a teenager, yes? You are in the elementary school?
yes.
Really?
In the truth, I'm 14.
You said 14.
You're just 14, so you're going to be the youngest in our class. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, guys, don't say any bad words, okay? Don't say any bad words, all right?
Yeah.
Okay?
It will be hard.
Yeah, control. Welcome to our class. How about you, Cecilia?
I'm from Salvador, Bahia.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a student too, but I'm studying accounting. I finished my graduate this year.
You're going to be an accountant, yes?
Yes, I'm counting.
Okay, very good. Okay, well, welcome to our class, okay? And I hope you enjoy. As today, it's Independence Day in Brazil, and in the previous class, we discussed independence of Brazil. I decided to show you something a little bit different, but in the similar area. We are going to talk about the independence, but the independence of the US, to show you the difference there was between both independence, okay? Brazil and the US. So as I usually do, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm also going to share my audio. But if you have the passage, if you have printed the passage, this is not the time to look at it. I just want you to listen as usual. So here there is a copy. It's not very good, but it's very old. Okay, so let's say it's in good condition. This is the first American Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. Okay, it was signed in Philadelphia a long time ago. Okay, so it's kind of an interesting story. Let's listen to it, and then we can discuss about the differences between the independence there and the independence in Brazil. All right?
All right, teacher.
All right.
Just listen without looking. This is a little bit more difficult than the other one, of course. Okay, let's go, but it's fast. Just a moment. Okay, I was logged out for my session expired. Okay. Independence. Boop, boop, boop. Sorry, just a sec. Okay, Declaration of Independence. Okay, got
The
it.
Declaration of Independence by Ben's Guide to the U.S. Government. The Declaration of Independence is one of the most important documents in the history of the United States. It was an official act taken by all 13 American colonies in declaring independence from British rule. People in the colonies were unhappy that they did not have a say in their government and still had to pay taxes. The Stamp Act of 1765 collected taxes on paper goods like legal documents, newspapers, and playing cards. In one act of protest, men dumped the cargo of a ship full of British tea into Boston Harbor in 1773. This is now called the Boston Tea Party. In 1775, the colonists went to war with Great Britain. The war between the colonies and Great Britain was called the American Revolutionary War, 1775 to 1783. A group of men came together in the summer of 1776 to find ways to become independent from Great Britain. The committee included John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Robert R. Livingston, and Roger Sherman. The Declaration of Independence was originally written by Thomas Jefferson. Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Jefferson then worked together to make changes to the document. The final draft of the Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4, 1776, but the actual signing of the final document was on August 2, 1776. Writing and signing the Declaration of Independence took courage, but it was an important step in the founding of our government. A famous phrase from the Declaration is, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Declaration of Independence facts and figures. John Hancock was the first to sign. His signature was so large and bold that people used John Hancock to mean a signature. The Declaration of Independence is on public display in the rotunda of the National Archives in Washington, D.C.
Okay. How was it? Did you guys get an idea of what they were talking about, or it was a little bit hard? Hello, I'm still here.
Little hard to understand. Little hard.
It was a little hard.
Roberto, I understood the guys wanted to change the document. Yeah?
They want to change the situation. I don't know if they wanted to change the document. Yes. Because the situation there was a bit different of the situation in Brazil. They were unhappy that they had to pay a lot of taxes to the government of England, okay? And they didn't get any benefits from that. Okay, it's almost very similar to what happens in Brazil nowadays. But okay, that's another story.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's another story. We'll talk about later. Anyway, they wanted to change the situation. They wanted to become independent. Okay, and the first step was to write the American Constitution and declare their independence from England. In our case, we declared our independence from Portugal, okay? Now, would you say that their independence was as peaceful as our independence in Brazil, or it was a little more complicated?
More complicated.
Yeah, United States, more complicated.
A war.
A
We have
lot.
a war, teacher.
It's a hard war,
There was a
Between the
bloody
colonies
war.
and Great Britain.
Yes. At the time of the independence, how many colonies formed the United States of America? Do you know?
13.
13.
Yes, 13.
colonies.
Only 13.
Only
And
13?
13.
Only
Yes.
13.
13?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
The 13 original colonies.
A big colonies, big colonies.
Not really, because the United States was like 1/4 of what it is today. It was
Okay.
coast. It was only on the East Coast. They were afraid of moving west. They only started moving west after somebody spread the news that there was gold in California, and then they started.
It's at some parts was the Mexico.
Yeah, many parts belong to
many
Mexico.
parts was the Mexico that time.
Yes, okay, it's
In
true.
California.
California, Arizona,
Texas. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. So I'm going to play it again, and then we will discuss it and read it and talk about it. All right. So listen to it one more time. And this time you can see, and maybe it's
The Declaration of
easier.
Independence. By Ben's Guide to the U.S. Government. The Declaration of Independence is one of the most important documents in the history of the United States. It was an official act taken by all 13 American colonies in declaring independence from British rule. People in the colonies were unhappy that they did not have a say in their government and still had to pay taxes. The Stamp Act of 1765 collected taxes on paper goods like legal documents, newspapers, and playing cards. In one act of protest, men dumped the cargo of a ship full of British tea into Boston Harbor in 1773. This is now called the Boston Tea Party. In 1775, the colonists went to war with Great Britain. The war between the colonies and Great Britain was called the American Revolutionary War, 1775 to 1783. A group of men came together in the summer of 1776 to find ways to become independent from Great Britain. The committee included John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Robert R. Livingston, and Roger Sherman. The Declaration of Independence was originally written by Thomas Jefferson. Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Jefferson then worked together to make changes to the document. The final draft of the Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4, 1776, but the actual signing of the final document was on August 2, 1776. Writing and signing the Declaration of Independence took courage, but it was an important step in the founding of our government. A famous phrase from the Declaration is, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Declaration of Independence Facts and Figures. John Hancock was the first to sign. His signature was so large and bold that people used John Hancock to mean a signature. The Declaration of Independence is on public display in the rotunda of the National Archives in Washington, D.C.
Okay. How was it now? Easier?
Yes.
Worse?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. As usual, let's read it and discuss it. Okay. So, Gloria, could you just read the first paragraph, please?
The Declaration of Independence is one of the most important documents in the history of the United States. It was an official and taken by all 13 American colonies in declaring independence from British rule.
Okay.
This is
You
a
don't,
painting.
just a moment. You don't emphasize dance. It's independence. Independence. Not
Independence.
independence. Okay. You're saying independence. No. There are no
Mm.
words in English that are stressed at the final syllable.
Independent.
Independence. Okay.
Yes.
Dependence, independence.
Independent.
Okay. Let's just stop there for a moment, please. Is there any problem about this part?
No.
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 Okay. Do you understand what they mean by the British rule? Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
They were dominated by the British. Okay. And that was the British. They ruled the United States. They made all the rules. Okay. Did I ever tell you about the funny story that happened to my family when we visited this place here where the independence was signed, or no?
No.
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 It was very funny. We went there to visit, and they tried to keep this scenario that you can see in this picture original. So the chairs are in the same position, the table. There is a copy, of course, because the official one is in Washington, D.C. now at the Rotunda. But the pen, everything has kept there. They have preserved the scenario, let's say, as original as possible, right? So we were standing here by the door, and there was a guide explaining us that Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, John Adams, and blah, 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 and a lot of other guys were there to sign. And then she explained everything. She talked about the Constitution and blah, 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 blah. Okay. And the end, she said, is there any question? There were about 50 people in the room. Can you believe that the only person who raised his hand was my 5-year-old son?
What was the question?
No, I looked at him and said, what are you going to ask her? He said, I have a question. I said, okay, go ahead. And he was like, excuse me, but you said that they used that pen that is on the table there to sign the independence? And she was, yes, that's right. And the pen has been lying there for a long time? And she said, yes, it's been at the same place. And he was, uh-huh. And nobody steals it? And it was very funny because everyone started laughing in the room, you know, and she said, no, we are here to protect everything. And he continued, but how can you protect if you're not even armed? And then the guy was kind of, oops, what am I going to say now? He said, well, but you see that security guy over there? He is the one who actually protects everything. And my son looked at the guy, and the guy opened the jacket, and he had a gun. And my son, I see. It was hilarious because I think there were like more than 50 old people in the room, and the only one that had a single question was my 5-year-old son. I laughed. Pardon?
Valid question, right?
Yeah, he was curious because how could a pen be sitting on the table for more than 300 years and nobody took it, you know? Like he told me, In Brazil, they would have taken that pen in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the painting by John Trumbull that shows the committee presenting the Declaration of Independence to the Congress. Okay, so Oscar, can you read the second paragraph for us, please? People in the colonies.
People in the colonies were unhappy that they did not have a say in their government and still had to pay taxes. The Stamp Act of 1765 collected taxes of paper goods like legal documents, newspapers, and playing cards. In one act of protest, men dumped the cargo of shipful of British tea into Boston Harbor in 1773. This is now called the Boston Tea Party. In 1775, the colonists went to war with Great Britain.
Very good. Any question about this?
Dump.
Dump it.
To dump. To dump is the action of throwing something into, can be a dumping area where you take trash. It's called a dumping area, understand? Or can, for example, you can dump certain merchandise or certain products into a place. In this case, they dumped all the cargo of the ship of tea. It was full of British tea. They dumped into the sea, into the Boston Harbor, okay?
Okay.
There is something, I don't know if you have ever heard about, it's called dumping. Dumping is an illegal action of selling to usually another country something which is not good for consumption or use anymore. Understand? So many times, this is much more common than you can imagine. I know that somewhere in the south of Brazil, there is a cargo of, I don't know how many tons of meat, you know, like beef, that has been there for more than 30 years, I think. It's still frozen. They're still preserving it because it was dumped into Brazil. And all the meat was contaminated with radioactivity, understand? So they just offer it to another country, something that is not good at a very good price. And many dirty business people, they think, wow, I can buy this for $1 and I can sell it for $20. That's a good deal. And they don't give I'm sorry, they don't care. Yeah,
Almost, teacher, almost.
Yeah, I control myself, okay? And they don't care if the people are going to get sick or anything like that. Every time they discover there's a dumping case in action, the Interpol starts acting to arrest the cargo and to arrest all the people involved, because this is not legal. This is also called dumping, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Many times they develop a new drug in the United States, but it's not FDA approved. You know, FDA is the Food and Drug Administration. It's like the Anvisa in Brazil. And then they invested millions of dollars in developing that drug. Instead of throwing away everything, they just sell it to another country. Okay, like, oh, this is good. It's a vaccine for the COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
And the other people just buy, but they'll never get immune, okay? Because it's no good. Another question or no?
No.
No? That was
Okay.
it?
It's okay.
You guys are so smart. I'm very proud of you. Yes, come on. You need to have questions or I'm gonna lose my job. Okay. Maria Clara, let's see you reading. Can you read the next part for us, please? The war between the colonies.
Okay. People in the colonies were unhappy that they did not.
It's the next part. It's the next part. Oscar just read this part. This one
Okay,
here.
sorry.
No
The
problem.
war between the colonies and the Great Britain was called the American Revolutionary War, 1775 and 1783. A group of men came together in the summer of 1776 to find ways to become independent from the Great Britain. The committee included John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Robert R. Livingston, and Roger Sherman.
Wow. How good it is to be young. You see the energy? Whoa.
Didn't breathe.
Yeah, very good, Maria Clara. You see, the people here are more like the war between the colonies and
Don't.
you are full of beans, full of beans. Very good. Any question about this part or no?
No.
No.
Excellent. Let's check our new student, Cecilia now. Can you read for us, Cecilia? Cecilia, are you still here? Hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The Declaration of Independence. Are you listening?
Yes, this part, yes.
Writing by Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Jefferson. They worked together to make a change to the document. The final draft of the Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4, 1976, but the actual I'm lost.
But the actual signing of the final document was on August 2nd.
My PDF was lost. One moment.
Here. Can you see it on the screen?
Okay. The final draft of the Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4, 1976, but the actual signing of the final document was August 2nd, 1976.
1776. Okay, good. Any question about this part or no? Piece of cake.
Piece of cake.
Good.
It's
Camila.
okay. It's okay.
Excellent. Camila, can you read the next part, please?
Okay. Writing and signing the Declaration of Independence took courage, but it was an important step in the founding of our government. A famous phrase from the Declaration is, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness."
Okay. Any problem about this part or no?
Do it.
Okay. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and they are endowed by their creator, God. They are given the liberty by God, understand? With certain rights that are not liable, understand? They are unliable rights, okay? That means you cannot take away from us, okay? Among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Pursuit is the same of search, seeking happiness when you try to get. Any other question about this part or no?
No.
No question, guys.
Okay.
Vanessa, can you read this part for us, please? Declaration of Independence Facts and Figures.
Declaration of Independence Facts and Figures. John Hancock was the first to sign. His signature was so large and bold that people used John Hancock to mean a signature. The Declaration of Independence is on public display in the rotunda of the National Archives in Washington, D.C. Archives in Washington, D.C.
Okay, National Archives in Washington, D.C.
National
Okay.
Archives.
Any question about this?
No.
No.
Has anyone here ever been to Chicago?
No.
No.
Chicago,
Me,
no.
but just airport.
Not yet.
Who is me but just the airport?
Cecilia.
Ah, okay, Cecilia. Okay. The just me, I'm confused because there was a student here, her name was me. Okay, she's not here today, so I was what? Okay. Okay, in Chicago, there is a building, it's called John Hancock. It's the second tallest building in Chicago. The first one is the Sears Tower, and the second is John Hancock. At the top of it, there is a very good restaurant, which is called the Signature Room, okay? Because John Hancock means signature. Yeah. And the name of the restaurant is Signature Room. It's a top restaurant for you if you ever go to Chicago, because the view from there is amazing, okay? It's on the 95th floor, if I'm not mistaken. So you can see practically the entire city, Lake Michigan, vast area, okay? It's very pretty, okay? All right, another question about this or no questions?
No question.
No question.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Now, let's see how much you remember, okay? How could you compare the Declaration of Independence in the USA with the Declaration of Independence in Brazil? Anyone can share his opinion.
In Brazil, the independence was pacific, and in the USA, there are bloody fights.
There were
bloody fights.
Okay. Anything else? A very important thing, probably. That means you have to know a little bit of English and you also have to know history. After the independence of Brazil, we were, let's say, an independent country, but what kind of government did we have in Brazil?
Monarchy.
Monarchy, yes.
It was a monarchy, exactly.
Yeah.
And in the United States, they elected what?
President.
Yeah, their first president, Thomas Jefferson.
Yes. Republic.
It was a republic, yes. Understand? This is a major difference, okay?
Yeah.
We continued to be a monarchy until I think 1889, when on November 15th was the, let's say, the Declaration of Independence really effective, because then we became a republic, okay? It took many years for that to happen. In the United States, no. They already elected their first president, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What were people in the US unhappy about that practically led them into revolting against the British rulers?
To pay the taxes, a lot of taxes.
Yes. Okay, the reason was the taxes, high taxes. And every time they could not pay the taxes, they would lose their properties to the British government, understand? Mm-hmm. Many farmers would always end up losing everything they had already constructed because they couldn't pay the taxes. What event happened in Boston and became famous? They still talk about it nowadays.
Boston Tea Party.
The Boston Tea Party. Yes.
Tea Party.
Can you remember what happened? Can you tell me?
The men dumped the cargo of the ship full of British tea.
Where?
In Boston Harbor.
Very good, Regina. Very good. Now, Annika already answered practically question number 4, okay? Like, was the independence of the USA as peaceful as the independence of Brazil? No. They had a lot of, you see, if you go back and pay attention, the independence was signed in 1776, but the war was over only 1783. Oh,
yes.
The war continued even after the Declaration of Independence, because United England did not accept their independence, understand?
Yes.
So they continued fighting. There are a lot of good movies that talk about this bloody war. Okay? Excellent. You guys were good. Very good. I thought we would spend for a long time and we did it very fast. So we can go back to the beginning of the class. Yes. I thought we would stop here, but no, we still have time and time is money. So let's go to the beginning. What are we going to talk about in this class? We are going to review the use of the infinitive. Oh my gosh, it's always the same bloody mistake. Or, practically every time you see of, it's or, okay? I don't know. I think I have a certain problem with the F and R. They are too close together. I will separate them in my keyboard here, okay? But anyway, sometimes you listen to people saying, I love to paint. And sometimes you listen to other people saying, oh, I love painting. Okay? Well, certain verbs permit you to use both the infinitive or the gerund. Okay? The gerund is the ing form of the verb, like walking, playing, working, and so on. And infinitive is always to plus the verb in the base form, to walk, to play, to work. So, when do we use the gerund form? If you ever want to start a sentence with a verb, it is possible to make a verb the subject of the sentence, okay? It's perfectly okay, but it's only possible if you use it in the ing. You cannot start a sentence using a verb in the infinitive as the subject. So walking is a good exercise. Smoking is not good for the health. Understand?
Yes.
So, you see, both cases, walking and smoking, are the subject of the sentence. And you see, it's third person singular. Look at the verb. Walking is, smoking is. Okay? Another case that we use the gerund is in all the continuous or the progressive tenses. Okay? Present continuous, past continuous, future continuous, present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, and etc. Like, Mary's walking to school now. We are working at this moment. Okay? I started very easily just to get to the point. We can also use all the verbs that you want in the gerund as an adjective. We have already talked about this. Okay? We get a verb, any verb like tire. The gerund would be tiring. And this form, tiring, can be used as an adjective. For example, I had a tiring day yesterday. Okay? So tiring in this case is an adjective. Okay? She's such a boring person. I heard some surprising news. Okay? And
Okay.
I can do this practically with all the verbs. You just need to remember that the gerund is always for the other person. And as a consequence of the ing, you always get the ed. Remember, we have talked about this not long ago. Like if you have a tiring day, as a consequence, you're going to get tired. If she's a boring person, as a consequence, after talking to her, you're going to be
Bored.
Yes, you are going to be bored. Sometimes you are bored to death. Okay? That is the extreme of bored. Like I'm bored to death. Okay, we also use the ing after all prepositions. Okay? If you need to use a verb as the object of a preposition, okay, it's the ing. Yes. And Roberto, where is the preposition here? You forgot?
Yes.
You're crazy, man. I think it's too much wine. No, it's water. The water is not good here, okay? We were talking about, you see, about is a preposition.
Yeah.
And if I want to use, for example, we were talking about you, it's okay. But if I want to use a verb, there is no exception to this rule. After all prepositions, we only use verbs in the gerund, okay? Like, I'm interested in learning more about this program, okay? Like, we look forward to hearing from you, right? You see our preposition is here, and then we use the ing. You don't have exceptions to this, okay? All prepositions without exceptions, okay? Now, the problem starts here. Certain verbs should always be followed by the gerund. This is the problem, okay? We need to memorize them. There are verbs that are only followed by the infinitive, and there are verbs that are only followed by the gerund. And there is no magic formula to learn this. You need to sit down and study them. So one day, a long time ago, I decided to do that. And I think I haven't forgotten yet. Like enjoy and avoid are two verbs that are only followed by the gerund. So I avoid drinking early in the morning, okay? But as my wife says, after 11 o'clock is not a problem, okay? So that's not early, all right? So I avoid the drinking. I really enjoy traveling on the weekends. And in English, American English, British English, whatever English you study, what happens? Okay, there are many idiomatic expressions with go plus a verb in the ing, like go hiking, go swimming, go sightseeing, okay? These I'm sure, I was going to say probably, we cannot translate with the verb in the ing, but it's almost impossible to listen to anyone saying, for example, let's swim. No, they prefer to say, let's go swimming. Okay? Let's go skiing. Let's go horse riding. Okay? All right?
All right.
Right.
And there are, I don't know, I don't remember, probably 25, 30 expressions. Go hiking, go bird watching, go swimming, go skating, go horse riding, okay? And blah, blah, blah. So I just put some examples here, but go bird watching, go hiking. Let me move this to the next line so they will be all together. Oh, go bird watching, go hiking, go sightseeing, go boating, go hunting, go skating, go bowling, go jogging, go skiing, go camping, go mountain climbing, go sledding, go canoeing, go running, go swimming, go dancing, go sailing, go tobogganing, go
Teacher?
fishing. Yes?
What is go sledding?
Sledding.
Sledding, yeah.
Yeah, sledding is like a board, okay, that has a curved edge. You sit on it, you go on a snowy hill or mountain or something slope, and you just sled down. Wow, okay? The difference between sledding and skiing is that skiing you can control where you go. Sledding, no. You gotta look, find a place where you can go without a tree in the middle, and then you can go down. The name of the place where you sit is called sled, and if it's big for like 2 or 3 people, they call it tobogganing, okay? It's practically the same, but a toboggan is bigger than a sled, okay?
I think in Brazil, we say esquibunda. In Brazil, we say that for this.
It's like that.
But you esquibunda in the snow?
No,
freeze your bunda.
in the sand.
beach.
In the
In the
sand.
sand.
Yeah, in the sand.
I see. Okay.
In
But you also sit on a board?
Nordeste.
Yeah, it's a board.
North.
Okay. Okay, good. So that would be a kind of sledding, a tropical sledding, understand?
Yes.
Yes.
And if you have a sled for like many people, it would be a toboggan, understand?
Toboggan.
Yes.
Okay.
My kids loved sledding. They would go sledding every weekend when we had snow, understand? And they would cover themselves, you could only see the eyes because usually temperature was like 20 below or 25 below zero. And they would walk all the way up the hill and then they would come down. Okay? They loved this, okay? Their sled was made of plastic, okay? But you also have a wooden sled, but those are more expensive. Yes, Camila?
And about the go sailing, what is the meaning of?
This is for the rich guys when you have a sailboat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a motor, not a motor powered. You put up the sails and then you wait for the wind to blow.
Okay.
And then you go sailing.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
There are beautiful
Roberto.
sailing boats. Yes.
Sightseeing.
Sightseeing.
The first.
Yes, go sightseeing.
Sightseeing.
Yeah, this is when you visit touristy places. Like when I went to Floripa,
Oh.
I went to all the touristy places. This is to go sightseeing.
Okay.
And do you guys know the difference between go shopping and go window shopping?
Those shopping, you don't get out of the car?
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Yeah, for instance,
Go shopping, you will buy anything in the window shop, you just looking.
Yeah.
that's a way of saying it. Yes, I was going to use as an example like 2 engineers that are here, like Oscar and myself.
Yeah.
Oscar is a VIP guy, understand? So
No.
when he goes out, he goes shopping. I'm just a teacher, so I usually only go window shopping. I only look. And I only keep looking because buying is almost never, understand? I only go window shopping, okay? Yes.
Roberto, I'm like a Miranda.
You are like a Miranda?
Yeah.
What is a Miranda?
Miranda. Me e anda. Not buy something.
Mira e anda.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that.
Excuse me, a little joking.
Joking. Like a Miranda.
Yes, this is window shopping then. Oscar has got a good definition. It's amazing the bad influence of Carolina. She's not here today, but she always has some followers, okay? Miranda. Okay. All right. Okay, I think I closed my window. No, it's there somewhere. All right.
Yeah.
We got to stop here. We finished. We exceeded even our time, but we'll come back to this point tomorrow and we'll see all the verbs that probably you spend a week or more to memorize, okay? And all the verbs that can be followed by both, okay? But we'll come back to this point. Thank you very much for watching my class. I hope you have a wonderful evening and I see you all tomorrow. Welcome on board, okay? Rafaela, you are also a new student. Rafaela? I haven't seen her before.
I am a new student.
Oh, you're starting today?
My name is Patricia Rafaela, my daughter. Zoom. The
Hello,
Zoom is
Patricia.
Rafaela names.
I would never discover if
Sorry.
But you can change the name, okay, Patricia?
Okay.
Yes, because I looked at that name and I thought, that is not my student. I was going to block you, understand? But I'm feeling so good today that I decided to let you in, all right?
Thanks.
Welcome to our class, okay? All right,
Okay.
I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time, all right?
Right.
Thank you, Roberto.
Thank you. Have a great evening and happy
See you,
Independence
everyone.
Day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye
See
now.
you.